Light the beam. Light the beam. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to Stats Over Politics, episode number 8. As always, I am Sean Holko alongside my guys, Javon Toddy, Kevin Dent, and the returning Gary Singh. How we doing, my boy Gary?
What's up? What's happening? What's good with the fellas? A lot of stuff happening.
Kevin, are you too cool for school?
Nah, man. There's a lot of disrespect coming my way. We'll talk about it later on, but I just can't see the haters, man. I got tunnel vision.
Javon, what do you think of his tunnel vision?
Man, he can keep on having this whatever division, tunnel vision, number 1 seed division, whatever third division. I don't know. Cowboys on the ass. That's all I gotta say.
Fun fact, speaking about tunnel vision, is tunnel vision is actually in the name of our intro instrumental. So there you go. It's not the tunnel vision from Kodak, but it's called tunnel vision. So
that should be Kevin's theme song.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
It should be. It should be. And just want to get to a couple of our YouTube comments real quick. What's up with brother Jesse? Light the beam. Hunter and Hayden, light the beam. What's up, James? Light that beam. Kings just finished off a win in Utah, so we're real happy about that as we record here on a Tuesday night. Happy New Year, guys. It is 2023 as here we come to you on January 3rd, and we got a jam-packed show for you all today. We're going to kick things off with the NFL, well, then we're going to get to some college football, and then we're going to close things out with some NBA. But just real quick on more of a somber note, Javon, I know that you wanted to talk about the events of last night and Damar Hamlin and just what happened in the Bills-Chiefs game. So if you just wanted to address that real quick before we got into all the sports of it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate situation that happened, obviously, with Damar Hamlin, going for a tackle on T. Higgins. It's nobody's fault, obviously. We all saw the play and kind of how it transpired. This is like something, that nobody wants to see happen. We all just want everyone to make it out as healthy as possible. But, when we kind of all saw the, reactions to everybody's, faces on the field from Steph to Josh Allen, the coaches were just like, yeah, there's no way we're going to play this game. And, hats off to both organizations to just, having the common decency to, for Damar's family and, hearing things that he's doing a lot better in the hospital, that he's breathing. He's not using the machine 100%. They said like it's half the machine and half is on his own. So everything's getting better. You saw the donation that he did in 2020 for the toy drive. It's almost at, I think, like $5 million. And it was only trying to get to $2,500, and that was 2 years ago. And the GoFundMe has been going crazy. So you're seeing all athletes across the sports, sending their thoughts and prayers out to everybody. So, just hoping that he gets well, and you just don't wish you don't wish this on anybody. And thoughts and prayers to his family and to the Bills organization. And it's cool to see that everyone is taking this. The whole league is kind of taking on. I even saw the Niners have something posted up with the number 3 jersey of him, and it's kind of just all around the league now. So, thoughts and prayers goes out to him and his family for sure.
Yeah, and just one other thing that I wanted to add on top of that is as an avid fantasy football player myself, like I'm in 7 leagues this year, I'm in 2 championships that are now basically held up because of this. But that doesn't matter, because what truly matters is this man's life. Like, not only everything that he did off the field, but like, it's just some people just don't understand that. Kind of like Skip Bayless, is it's just like it's sometimes. I mean, he's the main one who just like was very insensitive, and I just want people, like, especially like all the fantasy football fans out there, to like understand that like you can wait a couple weeks to like figure it out. Like, sorry if you were waiting on some money to pay some bills, but like that's on you for waiting for fantasy football winnings to like pay your bills. Like, a man's life is on the line right now, so just try to be sensitive about that. And prayers go out to Damar Hamlin. And
I was gonna add one more thing too, real quick, if I could. Yeah,
please
prayers
do.
up to the family and everything, and obviously hoping him the best and speedy recovery. I just wanted to say too, I feel like the NFL and the players on the field, the coaches on the field, the refs on the field, everyone in that decision making process. I think, like Kevin, we were all texting last night when we first seen it. You could just tell by the players themselves, by making a human shield. You could just tell how serious it was. It wasn't like a regular matter. You know, we love this game. We've seen people get injured many times before. But like you mentioned, some of those players talking on the broadcast last night, usually you see a little bit, you know, it might not be perfect, but you might see a thumbs up. You might see, you know, them wave, something that shows that, you know, they're going to be fine. And that's just not seeing that. You could tell it turned from just not an injury or anything like that to a life and death situation. And once it gets to that point in that situation, you know, sports is out the window, you know, and just family and health and everything, and just the safety and just caring for someone, just generally just caring for someone matters first. So I believe, you know, they did the right thing by canceling the game. I also believe, I think I just got a message. I'm not sure if it's 100% true. Sean can maybe help me out on that, but I believe they are not going to play this game. I don't think they're going to play this game. I'm pretty sure they're not. So
the last thing that I saw about that was that they weren't going to play the game this week. It's been suspended, postponed, however they want to phrase it. It hasn't necessarily been canceled yet, unless something has come out in the last 30 minutes to an hour while I've been off social media. But, you know, it's a fluid situation, and we'll just have to wait and see, because like we all said, like it's a man's life on the line. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure last night either if they, you know, were saying like they needed 5 minutes to get ready or play or whatever they were trying to situation was. I'm just happy at the end of the day situation was they did not play the game, because it just wasn't right to play the game, especially if someone's life's on the line on that field at that very moment. So just kudos to whoever's decision that was. Kudos to those players, and just wishing the best to Damar and his family.
Yeah, and, you know, it's that stadium used to be known as Paul Brown Stadium, named after the former Bengals owner. Now it's named something else because they got a corporate sponsorship. But there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened on that field, and I'll just leave it at that. But look into it if you're interested. But I'll leave it at that. But anyways, prayers up for Damar Hamlin and his family, without a doubt. All right, guys. So it's never easy to move on from something like that, but we'll try our best, as we are going to focus on the sport that Damar plays, and that is the NFL. And we're going to kick things off with some teams that are fighting to get in. On one side, and when I say get into the NFL playoffs as we come into our last week of the regular season. But on one side,
too. Eagles fighting for their life.
The Eagles have clinched a playoff spot, but they're doing a different kind of fighting right now, fighting for that number 1 seed alongside
They need it.
Anyways, let's continue.
It looks like they may need it, but I'll do my best to remain unbiased as I finish this little soliloquy here. Is that so? Anyways, on one side of teams trying to get into the playoffs, you have a team like the Miami Dolphins, who have lost like 5 in a row, and they are crashing fast, just trying to sneak into the playoffs after a good regular season to begin this year. And then on the other side, you have a team like the Packers, where the Packers, they are on a bit of a hot streak. And now, Javon, as Khalil has loved to tell us, the Packers control their own destiny. Shout out to our boy Khalil. And so it's really interesting. And our guy Manny, who was on the show last week filling in for Gary, he said, "How about the Eagles, Kev?"
Man. Shout out to the boy.
So
shout out to Manny too for holding it down for me last week too. Appreciate it, Manny.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Manny, and thank you for tuning in. And so anyways, we will We will get to the oh man, James. I'm not going to post that comment, but all right. Anyways,
But all
so
right.
we're going to get to the Eagles in a little bit, but we want to get to some of those teams that are fighting to get in right now. So Gary, I'm going to kick things off with you since we missed you last week, and also last week, Gary, I know you caught it that last week we made our NFL award predictions. We may not have time to get you on record on the pod, giving all your predictions, but I need to get your predictions for the note sheet. So just make sure to let me know about that. By the way, if anyone paused that, then they saw a domino score on there too. But anyways, it's a versatile note sheet. Anyways, all right. So guys, Gary, I'm going to kick things off with you as I'm going off on a tangent a little bit. Just when we get to these teams that are just fighting to get in, who do you think is most likely to get in? I mean, your Steelers, they're right there knocking on the doorstep.
Come on, Sean, bring them in. We haven't even discussed my Steelers all year. Look at y'all, you're gasping and stuff like that.
I added them as a block, but I know you want to talk about them now.
Kev, have I not been quiet? I haven't been saying nothing. I've just been, appreciating my team with their culture, We're just having some great culture. You can't stop Mike T from getting wins and trying to be over 500. Whatever type of team we got, he going to get us somewhere in the dance. And I'm just happy my team's even near the dance. To be honest with you, looking back at the season, I probably lost hope. I think I said in the middle of the season, and I was looking for a high playoff and a high first round pick somewhere in the high first 10 pick or something like that. But you know what? I'm happy. I've been waiting to see Kenny Pickett show some magic. And last two games, really, he's been showing some magic towards the end of the game. I know it hasn't been full on blown Patrick Mahomes magic. I know it hasn't been full on daisies and stuff like that. But our team is not. I wouldn't say our defense has been starting to get healthy and hitting on all cylinders. Better offensive line, they've been really iffy all year. That's why I've been struggle for Najee to run the ball, struggle for really Kenny to stay up and have some time to throw the ball to our great receivers. But last two games they've been handling the business when it counts the most. And just seeing my team to have a chance, y'all. Come on, we got a chance. A lot of things had to happen last week for us to get in this, the situation. And we're still alive this week. So, I might as well just say now, Kev, throw the 20 this way. I don't think the Jags. I don't know what's up with the Jags. Like, they still got a chance. But man, oh man, we're alive, and I wouldn't blame us if some miracle happens. But sad thing is, if we get in, we probably get blown out by 20 the first game. I'm not gonna lie, we'll probably get blown out by 20. So I kind of don't want to make it. But you know what? It's always good to have. I'm just happy to see some culture and just not like the season drowning on us, and we're just imploding within. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really proud of my team. I'm going to say we take this last spot. Dolphins don't deserve it. Eagles, come on. No. The Pats and Dolphins. Dolphins should have already wrapped it up. Dolphins should have already wrapped it up. Dolphins should already wrap this thing up. So they even give us the opportunity is a big chance. And we don't – Pats, man, they ain't got no offense. They ain't got an offense coordinator, so we need to talk about them. But go ahead. What y'all think? I know y'all going to say Miami. I remember Bond said the Jets, but, I don't know what happened there.
So I just want to put this on wax real quick. I know that we've kind of glossed over it a little bit, but on that unaired episode 0 of Stats Over Politics, Kevin and Gary, they made a $20 bet. Kevin said that the Jaguars would have a better record this year. Gary said it would be the Steelers. Just checking in right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 8-8. Oh, and so are the Pittsburgh Steelers going into week 18. So $20 may be decided. So what happens if they both finish with the same record? Jacksonville gets in as the AFC South champion, and Pittsburgh gets in as a wild card. Does Kevin win the bet because he picked a division winner?
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're wasting time here.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I really wish you guys didn't bring up the money. I didn't want everyone knowing Gary going to have to send me that dub. It's his favorite team. I was going to keep it on the low, keep it in the group chat, but now everybody knows. The Jags play the Titans, and you guys play the Browns. You guys have a way higher chance of losing than the Josh Dobbs Titans.
Okay, so Kevin
Titans. That's all you needed to say.
Okay, so Kevin, I want to hear who do you think is going to end up sneaking in? We got a team like the Packers. We got a team like the Dolphins. The Jaguars are still there.
Hot take: the Detroit Lions.
Oh my goodness!
I think the Detroit Lions are gonna do it, man. Jared Goff hasn't thrown a pick since week 9, and he's thrown 15 touchdowns. This dynamic backfield with Jamal Williams with 15 touchdowns on the year. He's been having to have the primary role because DeAndre Swift's been hurt, but now that DeAndre Swift's slowly starting to get back into it, they have a lot of weapons in that backfield, man. And let's not start with the number 2 pick, over here picking off people. Either we saw Justin Fields play the running back, we saw a linebacker or a DN play corner. We're seeing it all. The Lions are definitely going to be that team to get in, I think.
Well, the Lions and the Packers, they play on Sunday Night Football. Whoever wins is getting in. Javon, where are you leaning when it comes to teams fighting to get in this weekend?
Well, I'm going to go opposite of Kevin. I'm going to go with the Pack and Aaron Rodgers.
Khalil's going to like that.
Packers have won, I think, 4 or 5 straight games now. Aaron Rodgers is on the up and up. You got a guy, an emergence in Christian Watson over these past couple of games. Just all he does has been catching touchdowns everywhere he goes. I think the Packers, what they have kind of realized is Aaron Rodgers has been playing that well at an MVP caliber level. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the ball. We're going to use A.J. Dillon to be a bruiser. We're going to use Aaron Jones. He's going to average about close to 100 yards a game. So with the established run game, it's kind of opening up the pass game for, Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson, Robert Tonyan. So I think with this, they have a different identity when just kind of letting Aaron Rodgers go out there and do whatever that he does and just make magic happen. I think that they're relying a lot on the run game now, and it has been working. Their defense has been playing well. Jair Alexander locked up the best receiver in football, in my opinion, this past week, only allowing 3 receiving yards. So I think if this Packer defense, I think one thing that my cousin Marcellus always tells me, I don't know if he's in the chat or not, is the Detroit.
No, he hasn't announced his arrival yet. We'll know when Marcellus arrives.
The Detroit Lions, they don't finish. They'll get you. They'll look good in a certain amount of times during the game, but when it starts to get tight and it goes down the line, they ain't gonna finish. And I think with them, they need a win to get in, but they got to go to Lambeau to do it. So I think all the momentum is on the Green Bay Packers side. It's literally set up for them to win. You got to beat the Detroit Lions to get into the freaking playoffs. How much easier can it get, right? So I think it's storybook for them. It's storybook. So you got to tell them about the Lions.
For our audio only listeners, Marcellus did let us know in the YouTube chat. He said
tell them about the Detroit Lions and how they don't finish. So I think the Packers they get in just off of the strength of they're going to figure out how to do it. And the Lions, it's been a while since they've been there. Jared Goff's been playing with his hair on fire, as Kev already said. But I think when it comes down to it, and they're like they need to make a play, the Lions ain't gonna do it. So I got the Packs squeaking in.
Is it the all Lions though? They've been showing up a lot of times this year, guys, and they've been really trying hard a lot every game. Kev knows they've been a tough team to beat. There's not some team like the all Lions. I'm not gonna lie. Usually it's Vaughn's perspective. It's the Lions, guys. We're gonna walk up in there. They're gonna beat themselves. Packers are gonna be in the playoffs. But this year it is a little bit tricky. They look like they got some new culture there too. They look like they've been fighting hard. So that's a toss up, but. If I had to go one way, I think I'm gonna go Vaughn because it's hard to be against Aaron Rodgers, guys. That's the guy. But he hasn't had his best year though. What you think, Sean?
I just don't understand how Aaron Rodgers could win if he doesn't have any kneecaps because they bit off all the kneecaps. I'm just wondering, and that's an old one from when Dan got around. Anyways, so guys, one team that has already clinched a playoff spot, but they're currently missing their quarterback is the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm just wondering, it's a contract year.
Cap thinks everything's about him. That's what he thinks. But go ahead.
Well, Kevin, I just want to know, will Lamar Jackson return this season, or should he sit out to keep that bag and ensure that he is going to get hundreds of millions of dollars? Because we saw an example in the NBA just off the top of my head with Isaiah Thomas, where he played in the playoffs through a hip injury and he went from getting a max to a minimum because of that injury. Don't want to see that happen to Lamar. So should he just sit out the rest of this year?
Honestly, I think B sitting out would probably be the best thing for him. They're 2-2 without him. We saw the Huntley go down, and we saw the third string quarterback have to go in there. So you can definitely feel the pressure on the Ravens front office having to see these quarterbacks go down, winning games 3-9. It's just not looking good over there. So if Lamar doesn't play this week, I think it's going to be a lot worse than we're hearing, and he's not going to come back this year. And I know the Ravens already clinched, so everyone might think he's sitting for the playoffs, but you can't not play this week and then roll into next week and thinking you can just roll out there after missing the past 8 weeks. So I don't think he's coming back.
All right, Gary, how about you?
See, well, Lamar, it's a tough situation because, like, obviously on the one hand, he wants to be out there for his teammates. He's a competitor, and he wants to prove and help this Ravens team, assuming get as far as they can. Go to Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. Same time, you ain't got your money, my man. So, like, they've been trying to tell him all year, and this is why he probably should have handled this in the off season, where he didn't even have an attempt to come to the season with this problem lingering over his head going into the playoffs. If I'm one of his teammates, I'm looking at him like, yeah, handle your money. But at the same time, my guy, we've been practicing all year. This is the moment we've been waiting for. We're gearing up for the playoffs to make the run. Every playoff, every competitor, every player, wants to get ready for these moments. Everyone wants to be healthy during these moments. Now, if the question is, will he return? I think that's going to be based off his pure health and if he's ready to go. Now, should he return? I think that's the major question here. And I think if I was him, personally, I wouldn't return. I would try to get my bag just because he's already got injured this year. And we all know, and I think the Ravens know, this team doesn't run properly if Lamar Jackson isn't right. This team isn't as special if Lamar Jackson is right, because Lamar Jackson is an MVP in this league, and he's an MVP going forward. So I think that in his best interest, he should secure his bag and just sit out until he gets that bag. At that point, that's what matters most, because that's going to really help his family. That's what he's doing this for, is his family and things of that nature. And I know, obviously, he cares about the winning, cares about playing in the playoffs, keep proving people wrong and things of that nature. But if I was him, I would always take your body into the first, and your second is your money, because those two things you're going to need the rest of your life. And, football's always going to be there. But I think those are two things I think he should consider majority of the time, and I think he should sit out, to be honest with you.
So, Gary, I'm really glad that you distinguished the difference between will he return or should he return. So, Javon, now I'm going to pose that revised question to you. Should Lamar Jackson return this season? Why or why not?
Well, I think Lamar, I don't think he's that type of player. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's like, all right, I'm going to get my money first. If that were the case, his contract dispute would have been settled before the regular season even started, because that was something that was kind of going into it. It's Lamar's last year of his rookie deal. Should he play on it, or should he kind of just wait and get his money? And we were all kind of talking about the same thing, like health is your wealth. It's something that, quarterbacks only get so many contracts going, at the age that he's at. So your second and third contract, they matter the most. With Lamar being an MVP, he's already kind of proven that he can be the best player in the league when healthy. I think if Lamar Jackson is healthy, he's going to return and play. I think he's the kind of player that he cares about his teammates, and he wants to be on the battlefield with his brothers. So I think Lamar Jackson will come back this season. I think he should come back if he's healthy enough. We don't know if Lamar is going to re-sign with the Baltimore Ravens next year. That's all up in the air. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, I think they do have the opportunity to have his bird rights because they drafted him. So I do think that they have the opportunity to franchise.
They can tag him too, I think.
They can tag him. So now that's a whole nother situation.
The Kirk Cousins experience
of Lamar wanting to play on a tag, because we all know that he wants a long-term contract. So I think Lamar, I think he will come back if he's healthy enough to play. And they're kind of a team that no one really talks about, because obviously Lamar's hurt, but they're a dangerous team going into the playoffs. Now it's like, if you're matched up against the Ravens, you're like, all right, is Lamar playing or not? Is it Huntley? Okay, cool. We kind of have a chance. But if Lamar's playing, they give their team any given chance against any of the top teams, the Bills, the Chiefs, Bengals. Those would be great games. Lamar Jackson versus the Mahomes versus the Burrow versus, Josh Allen. Anybody want to see that game. So I think the Lamar Jackson-led Ravens gives this team a fighting shot.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you made, Javon, just kind of about the character of Lamar Jackson and him wanting to come back if he is capable. And they always say, like, in the NFL and in sports in general, that you play hurt, but you don't play injured. And there's a significant difference. And so if he is good enough at like 75%, then maybe we'll see him return for the playoffs. So it's kind of a wait and see thing. So another team that has clinched a playoff spot, and they're getting in because their division is not very good, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, who decided to return after retiring for 40 days. And he ultimately lost his marriage, probably because of it. But, hey, he's going back to the playoffs.
Well, don't be speculating.
So that's my hypothesis, and I think it is a well-educated hypothesis. Anyways, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going back to the playoffs as they clinch the NFC South with a win over the Carolina Panthers. Mike Evans, if he was playing against you in fantasy, rest in peace. If he was playing for you, congratulations on your championship or third place. Anyways, so Javon, the Buccaneers are back in the playoffs, but honestly, are they a real threat in the playoffs? Because I don't think so.
Hey, man, any team with Tom Brady in the playoffs is a threat. The guy's got 7 rings.
I'm on an
I saw Sean Payton. He was on Colin Cowherd's show, and he was talking about the 2010 team when they played. It was a divisional round, and they played the 7-9 Seattle Seahawks, 2010, and that was the infamous beast mode run that happened where he broke like 6 tackles and ultimately ended up scoring on that play, and they ended up losing that game. So this team is totally different from that. I think if it all matches up correctly, I think the Bucs would end up hosting the Dallas Cowboys. And we all know the Dallas Cowboys have to play a certain type of way for them to win. And earlier in the season, the Tampa Bay Bucs beat the Cowboys on the road. So when you have a Tom Brady, when he's showing that he can throw 3 touchdowns to Mike Evans, and he's out there kind of just, looking like the Mike Evans of old, who has had another 1,000-yard receiving year, and I think that's definitely getting misconstrued. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but if this defense is humming, able to create stops, Tom Brady is able to make the requisite throws and not be able to turn the ball over. This Bucs team can beat anybody, and obviously a couple of years ago, the first year that Tom Brady was there, they won a Super Bowl, albeit Bruce Arians was the coach. This is a Todd Bowles-led team, so it's a little bit different. But I do think just the Tampa Bay Bucs got a shot against anybody when you have Tom Brady in the playoffs. And now we understand that this is a 8-9 team where they have a losing record at the moment. So the record isn't the best, but I think that them just being able to get into the playoffs and just get there, and they'll be able to host a playoff game. I don't think anybody wants to play this Tampa Bay Bucs team.
So Kevin, you were shaking your head. Yes, that Tom Brady, he is a threat no matter. Yeah, but I mean, his team got it done in the big dance, at least the second time against Tom Brady. But anyways, Kevin, I just want to get the same thought from you about whether if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a threat in the playoffs with a 45-year-old Tom Brady. 45, yeah, he's 45.
Like Toddy said, man, with Tom Brady, you can't count him out. You always got to give him a fighting chance. And the way it's playing out, if they're going to play the Cowboys, I think they have a really good chance of getting it in. Mike Evans got back on track this week. It was 11 games without a touchdown. Sunday went off for 3 touchdowns and 207 yards. So if the Bucs are rolling, if they just keep it going, stay healthy, they're dropping like flies recently, but if they just get healthy and they have the championship charisma, they've done it before, so that's another plus that they have. So I think they can do something in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's a great stat about Mike Evans. And another one is that he has had 9 straight seasons with over 1,000 receiving yards, which extends his own NFL record. So Mike Evans, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion, and he's kind of underappreciated. So Gary, now I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think that the Bucs are actually threats in the playoffs?
Has everyone in NFL, every team probably in the NFL has been goated by Tom Brady at some point or another. So Sean, I don't know how you have 0, like you said, I don't know if you're 0% scared, 5%, just a little bit, nowhere. Give me a little insight on that real quick.
I would, if I had to put a number on it, it's 2023. I say I'm 23% concerned.
Okay, I was gonna say you better be a little percentage scared of the GOAT right there, because he's gonna make you pay. And just like Bond said, Kev said, as long as he gets in the dance, it's like dropping LeBron. If LeBron gets in the playoffs, you're gonna be a little nervous. You're gonna be sweating. You don't care who he's with. You don't care which players he's with or nothing.
LeBron went 33. LeBron went 33 and 49 last year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if he would have been dropped in the playoffs, you would have been a little scared. You would have been a little frightened because, when you got somebody that great on that side, and I know it's a team game, and I know all those other components matter. But if it ever comes down, 2 minutes left, they just tied it up 14-14. They've been playing bad all game. You think Tommy can't do a 2-minute drive? Have we not seen that before for a field goal?
He's done it. He's done it like 8 times. All 8 wins this season have been 2-minute drives.
He's done it every single. He's done it in Super Bowls. So I would not be wanting, if I'm the Eagles or the Cowboys, to play Tom Brady. I would rather play really anyone else, really, except obviously maybe not the Niners, because the Niners are rolling. I'm not gonna lie, Niners are rolling a lot. But any other team, I would not want to play that quarterback, because, like you guys say, like, they've been iffy all year. But last game, they kind of got together with Mike Evans. Last game, the defense starting to get more healthier as well, and starting to hit their stride somewhat, not on all cylinders, but like they're just if you want to end the season on the right note. I mean, I guess I know the team they played the Panthers. It's not the greatest team to be, but if a win's a win, just like the Packers, a win's a win. They haven't been playing the greatest teams either, but wins are wins in the NFL, and catching fire and catching a little bit of heat and momentum at the right time, this is the perfect time to catch it. So if I was the Bucks, if I was any other team in the NFC, I'd be just to be a little bit nervous. I wouldn't be as nervous maybe as last year, them coming off a Super Bowl run and them, having a lot more weapons on their side with Gronk and everyone there. But, I would still be, head scratching, and I would be on my 10 toes. I would not be sleeping on Tom Brady no matter what record he has.
You guys are tuned in to Stats Over Politics, episode number 8. I am Sean Holko alongside Javon Toddy, Kevin Dent, Gary Singh. And before we move on to our next NFL topic, gentlemen, I just wanted to get to a great YouTube comment from our man Manny, where he said, TB12 is the GOAT for a reason. They lost last year because Cooper Kupp made a phenomenal deep ball catch in the end. And that, Manny, is ultimately probably why Tom Brady felt like he had to come back, because he ended at he thought he ended at what was such a high level of play that he was like, I have to come back. And I feel like this season has been good for him, because it's kind of humbled him and showed him, okay, you're 45 years old. Maybe it's not as easy as you thought it might be. So I think him coming back was good, and it's probably his last season, but who knows? This is episode 8. Maybe Tom Brady goes out with number 8. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Sean,
yeah.
Real quick before we move on, you guys forgot to pin one of these in Pickett in the Steelers we trust. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate you.
That's crazy.
We pin all other stuff. We don't get to pin.
There you go.
There you go. There you go, man. I wanted to make sure Manny was heard on this one. I
mean, Manny does have the good take. So if I had to guess, I feel like that was layered with a bit of sarcasm. But hey, man, hey, Gary, man, whatever makes you feel better, whatever helps you sleep at night. In Pickett, we trust. All right, guys. So now let's move on to what was a great time for Javon and I, as now we get into our 3 teams. Gary, I know you touched up on your Steelers a little bit at the beginning, but I want to get the other guys' thoughts on it more. So we're going to get to all 3 of our teams now, and we're going to kick it off with the 49ers beating the Raiders in overtime. Probably shouldn't have got there, but it did nevertheless. So, Javon, what were your thoughts on this 49ers win as they keep the winning streak alive?
Great teams that figure out a way how to win, whether it's bad, good, bad, ugly, because this was an ugly win for us. The defense did not play well. Fred Warner had some very bad plays. I thought he had with the face mask that was on 3rd and 12 that kind of kept the drive alive, and then he had a pass interference on Darren Waller that led to them being down at the 1-yard line, and then ultimately end up scoring. You saw Talanoa Hufanga get beat a couple of times. Brock Purdy only threw for 38 yards in the first half, but he did throw 2 touchdowns. So Christian McCaffrey was just our safety valve, I thought. Being able to get another 100-yard game, a touchdown. He's running over guys, running over DBs. So, I mean, it's great when you have weapons just everywhere. I legitimately think that the Niners have 2 number 1 receivers in Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is 44 yards away from having a 1,000-yard season. Kevin, you can roll your eyes all you want. I'm just stating facts here. Brandon Ayuk, he's just a magnet for the ball. He finds a way how to get open. You could argue George Kittle is a number 1 receiver, but he's a tight end. So we'll go off with that. Deebo didn't play in this game. Ray McLeod made plays. I mean, when you just got guys just everywhere just making plays, stepping up. Debo didn't even play in this game, but you got guys like Ray McCall making plays. Danny Gray, we saw Danny Gray signing Sean since preseason. When you have the backup running back, Jordan Mason, the closer, as we like to call him, Christian McCaffrey likes to call him too, with the ceiling touchdown at the end. And then for Robbie Gould to miss that field goal when everybody knew that the game was over at the end, and then for us to miss it, I had no idea what was going to happen after that, because I just thought the game was just pack them up, send them home. In the words of Doug Christie, it's time to go home, right? So, and then when Robbie Gould, the best kicker in the league in my opinion, shanks a kick and it goes in overtime, and the Raiders get the ball first, I'm just like, and Stidham, who there is a crazy stat out there. The two players to throw for over 300 yards against the 49ers defense, Patrick Mahomes and Jarrett Stidham. Yes.
Hey, who else remembers when Nick Mullins got mentioned in the same sentence as Patrick Mahomes? I knew too.
It was Nick Mullins,
Brett Favre.
Yeah. It's a crazy stat. So, and then for the Niners, the defense to kind of go into overtime was like, all right, we need to give our offense some leeway. Like someone has to make a play, and for Bosa to get a free rush on the offensive tackle, and for Stidham to kind of panic and throw that pick, that was pretty much, that kind of summed up the season in my opinion. The defense making plays. This was a very timely turnover that was much needed, and then kind of going down and giving Robbie another chance to redeem himself, and totally redeemed himself with the game-winning kick. So I just think that the 49ers showed that they can win in many different ways, and Brock Purdy showed that, Brock, he's playing with all these weapons. He doesn't face adversity. He's this, he's that. Down 10 at halftime. I mean, we're talking about, he is a rookie. He's a 7th round. He's literally the last pick in the draft. He's a rookie, and he's shocking the world, man. He's only played 5 games, 4 starts. It's amazing what he's doing. This Niners team is now in 2nd place, thanks to the Minnesota Vikings, and they're creeping on that number 1 seed. So now, the Eagles' hands, they're sweating. It's starting to get a little tense for them. They're like, hold on, these Cowboys, these Niners, all of a sudden we're not. It's not locked up for us. So this Niners team is in the driver's seat going into the playoffs.
They sure are. And you bringing up Robbie Gould's field goal attempt to end regulation. That was a tough 24 hours for me as an Ohio State and San Francisco 49ers fan. When Robbie missed the kick, I was just thinking to myself, why does this happen to me twice in 24 hours? But luckily he redeemed himself and he actually won the game, unlike my friend, Mr. Ruggles. Kevin, I just want to ask you a question because I think Toddy just covered the game pretty well. So I just want to ask you about something that your day one said. Manny said, reminder alert, Davante Adams, he spelled Davante's name wrong. We're going to forget that. But Davante Adams is still the best receiver in the NFL. Agree or disagree, and why, Kevin?
Shit, man. If you would have asked me before Sunday, I would have said Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
But, it's hard to see him go down like that. But, one game shouldn't make you change the way you think about him. I still think it belongs to Jettas. He's been killing it. He single-handedly keeps the Minnesota Vikings alive. Without him, they really wouldn't be nothing. It's getting to the point where Kirk just closes his eyes and says 18's down there somewhere. So...
Yeah, Davante Adams, I think there's a stat that this is the most that the Raiders have had from a guy in his first year at receiver, and Davante has shattered the record for the most receiving yards from a first number 1 receiver for the Raiders. So every time the Niners play Davante Adams, it's always bad. He's bound for a 100-yard game. Last time when we played the Packers, or not in the playoffs last year, but in the regular season last year, Davante went for 150 and 15 receptions. It was something insane. So.
I'm just wondering why Moody Ward didn't shadow Davante Adams like he did against DK Metcalf.
I mean,
you think that You would
Mooney
think that it
Ward
was getting him ready
dragged by Devontae Adams too, so it wasn't like he wasn't when he played against him.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter who we threw on him. So
Yeah, but I mean, Moody Ward wants to try to claim that he's a top 5 corner in the league. You got to be able to match up consistently against the best of the best. And no, Wes, we did not watch the Vikings game because the Vikings got absolutely throttled by the Green Bay Packers.
Strap that boy.
Strapped him down. But Gary, I wanna ask you something else as well, because it's one thing that I have not mentioned, and shame on me as the host for bearing the lead here, is that Derek Carr. Javon mentioned Jarrett Stidham. It was because Derek Carr wasn't injured. Derek Carr got benched, and now he ultimately looks like he's never going to play another game with the Las Vegas Raiders again. So, do you think that was the right move, Gary? Is it time for the Raiders to move on from Derek Carr?
I was about to say, are you guys really, I don't know if you guys are happy or barely getting away in Las Vegas on New Year's weekend with the backup quarterback? I know you can always do that perspective, but man, oh man.
Hear it.
You said that you guys said the game so perfectly right and all that stuff, but I don't know. The first half, the defense, like this is the first spot probably, pretty much 5-6 weeks I've been seeing the defense getting scored on. I know Devontae Adams was on the other side. I know he was on the other side. But the quarterback, we already said this, but that was just, a couple little hints here and there. I don't know. Not everything's all beautiful and daisies in 49ers world, how much they want to make it seem. But I would say back to Sean's question you just asked me right now about Derek Carr. They were eliminated in a sense, basically, after I lost my Steelers game. I know there was probably some type of percentage they had or something I've seen, but realistically, their hopes were pretty much done. For their case, I think it was a good thing. I'm not gonna lie, I think it was a good thing for the Raiders, and I really haven't heard too many perspectives on this, so it's really just me, just not even listening to no one else on this one. I would just say, if they have money into a player and they want to get a high draft pick and all those type of situations, keep him healthy and all that, I think it's best interest in the team to sit that player out. I just feel like just like if a player was injured and he don't feel like it's best interest in him to play, I feel like that same situation. I feel like those decisions about playing or not is kind of really in the team decision and the player's decision. Obviously, if the player wants to play super bad, but the team says we're investing you with money, I think, they have the right to say no. If the player says, I'm really hurt one day, I don't want to play, and they say we invest in your money, then he can say, no, I'm really hurt, I'm not going to play. So I think, it's a hard line to toe. Obviously, he's not injured, but I'm just trying to say that I feel like they made a good decision in their spot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some other teams actually could take a little notes on this, because as we could see yesterday, not to point an example, but this sport is obviously very, very violent, and there's some things that can happen any day, any time. So I think that, it's that was the best decision made for the Raiders, and I think that was pretty smart of them, to be honest with you, because now they have a guy they could trade if they want to. They can keep him again for next year. They can do multiple different things with Derek Carr. So they should actually just be happy that they were in this game, to be honest, without Derek Carr, showing that, not everything should be set on fire in Raiders Nation.
Yeah, Gary, and you really hit the nail on the head on two things there. The thing you were alluding to is the fact that if Derek Carr did get hurt, then the Raiders would have had to pay him out the rest of his contract, where now they're sitting him so they can ensure that they don't have to do that. And the other thing that you hit on that I wanted to mention is the fact that it's on the team. Like, yeah, the player might want to play, but it's on the team, because at the end of the day, like, these are people, but the way that the owners and the GMs look at them is that player is an asset to your organization. And like, for example, yeah, exactly. And Kyle Shanahan had said back like 3-4 weeks ago after the Saints game, when the Niners were up late and he decided to pull Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa wanted to stay in the game. Kyle Shanahan even said so after the game. He said, yeah, Nick wasn't happy that I pulled him out of there. He wanted to keep racking up sacks because, as we know, Nick Bosa wants to get the sack record. But Kyle Shanahan literally said verbatim in that press conference, he said, but it's best for the 49ers for us to take him out now and know for a fact that we're going to have him for next week. And that's just the reality of it at the end of the day. So there you go. 49ers beat the Raiders, and they have now won. What is it, Toddy? How many is it? 1, 2, 3. Is it 9 games in a row?
Yeah, maybe went to Kevy. Yeah. Hold on, we didn't go to Kevy.
Gary, I recall the last time the 49ers lost, you said, are the Niners going to win out? Are they good?
I did say that. I did say that, but that was just bluffing around, y'all. That was bluffing around.
You gotta stand on it, Sean. You gotta stand on it, Gary. Let them know, bro.
You said
No, I'm the one who brought it up. That you have a chance
Stand
to
on
win
it.
it all.
You said put $20
Stand on
on it. Put 20 on it.
Did you put it, Vaughn?
Put
Don't stand
20
out now. If you didn't.
Go back and watch the tape. It's on there.
We gonna watch the
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. $20 is about to be in my pocket after next week.
No, I don't think you even took that bet. I mentioned the bet.
Hold on. You want to know?
Oh, we can go back. We're gonna go back to the clip now.
We're
gonna have to review this footage.
Yeah.
Javon, I don't know if you actually agreed to that bet.
No, no, he didn't. He was pump faking. I'm the one who brought it up. I'm like, you sure you're gonna win? He was like, I don't know.
Hold on. Okay, Gary, let him speak. Let him clear the air. Go ahead.
The Niners play the Arizona Cardinals next week, and Trace McSorley is going.
We're not wondering. We're not wondering if they're going to win out. We're wondering if you actually accepted the bet.
We can go back and watch the tape because it's on there.
We have to now.
It's there.
Now we have to.
You guys can go back and review.
Gary's going back right when we end.
We could go that I accept. It's like there's no way they're gonna win 10 straight. There's no way. I think we lost to it was like the Broncos or something. Somebody.
Bobby might be getting Broncos. I think I was mentioning.
It was the Falcons. It was the Falcons. It was the Falcons.
Yeah,
that was
it was so long ago. You forgot because.
Yeah.
Kev, he's fresh on losses. They just lost 2 straight. So.
Okay, so that's Javon. Thank you very much. That's a perfect segue. The Eagles have.
I was about to give some credit to the Niners. That was my next move.
Well, Gary, go ahead. 49ers beat the Raiders. Go ahead, Gary. Give him the credit.
I want to give one credit for Bond. Just put a whole lot of taste back in my mouth with that Niners spiel. Oh man, no, forget that, Sean. No. We're going at y'all.
He said forget it. He said forget it. All right. So perfect segue. Thank you, Javon. The Eagles have lost their second game in a row after starting the season 13-1. It was their second game in a row. It should be noted, obviously, without Jalen Hurts due to his shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew had a rough game against the Saints as the Eagles lost 20-10. Kevin, you're wearing the shades. You can't see your haters. So are the Eagles still going to get the number 1 seed? Why or why not?
Of course. You know, I got the glasses on. I got my tunnel vision on. I got the patch on. I got tunnel vision, man. I got Toddy in one ear. I got all my homies that became every other man in my ear. You know, it's all gonna be okay. You know, I came on here. I had a lot of confidence in Gardner Minshew against the Cowboys. He really did his thing. It just came down to turning the ball over. Quez Watkins gave up on a ball and got stripped. So I don't really know if you want to call that. And the fumble with him and Boston Scott, it's just reps. He just really doesn't get a lot of reps. You know, when you have an MVP quarterback, you're not letting your second stringer get no reps. But I think it's going to really be an impact with Lane Johnson being gone. We are 72-44-1 with him. And without
that's a stat right there.
And 22. He hasn't given up a sack in 5 years. So that's really going to be big. And, you know, Jack Driscoll, you know, God bless him, man. He did his thing. It sucks that it has to be against Cameron Jordan, having going with the career season high 3 sacks in one game for him this year. So it was really rough to see. But we have a lot of good things to roll. You know, we got Jalen Hurts coming back. We got the Giants. You know, Toddy, go grab a broom. Let's get the sweep going, season sweep. We're not worried about them. We're going to get this going, get the 1 seed, and rest up for the first week, watch all you other teams play.
Where's the game at?
It don't matter.
It
could be in New York. It could be in Sac. It could be in Stockton. It don't matter.
It'll be in
travels.
It'll be in Philly.
But, you know, first team in NFL history to have 4 players with 10 plus sacks. So, you know, we're doing our thing. And, yes, official word, Jalen Hurts is playing.
No official word yet.
Source, Kevin Dent. I got off the phone. No worries. You know, Eagles are going to fly. Everyone has things to say. You know, we're losing late. I know you guys all got your losing out early in the weeks, you know, to the Falcons and all those other games you lost. You know, we just started off with the 10-game winning streak that you guys are chasing, you know. So I know the hate in your heart. I can feel it, Toddy. So, you know, we're going to be fine. Next week when we come on here, it'll be happy hell. And now Kevin's going to kick his feet up and just hear what the haters got to say. Tunnel vision, baby.
All right, Toddy, you look like you got a lot to get off your chest. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, let's just go to the game. You know, we saw that Gardner Minshew just wasn't really able to make plays, kind of just turning the ball over. The only other score that they had was a pick 6 to Marshawn Lattimore. That was at the goal line.
From the Ohio State University.
I didn't know Marshawn went to Ohio State. That's a good stat there. So, you know.
Always, every time.
When you can't stop Taysom Hill from kind of just running around doing QB power every once in a while. This was supposed to be an Eagles defense that we thought was one of the top defenses in the league. And, for a Saints team that's not really able to move the ball that well, it was kind of shocking to see that the Eagles defense was kind of letting them kind of march up and down the field repeatedly. So I'm a little worried about that. Obviously, there's speculation that Jalen Hurts is supposed to be coming back because why shouldn't he? He needs to come back. We already saw. Well, I said that the Eagles need Jalen Hurts to come back. Gardner Minshew is only going to get you so far. He's going to turn the ball over. We've already seen in the past couple of games he's been turning the ball over. 3 interceptions in the Cowboys game. We saw the pick 6 in the Saints game. So it's going to come down to Jalen Hurts is coming back. You could argue that him being gone is another requisite of him being the MVP of the league. Like the Eagles need him desperately, but at the same time, how healthy is Jalen Hurts? Is he coming back too prematurely? Is his shoulder, all the way healthy? It's probably not going to be because with this late in the season, everyone is playing hurt. So we saw, Batman making plays. So it's there. They have the players to do it, but they need their captain out there in Jalen Hurts to kind of go down and make things happen. So I think, yes, Manny he's kind of already hitting the nail on the head. The Niners are on the incline while the Eagles are on the downcline or the decline. And so I think that, going into this last game, I think
I got you, Kev.
I think the Giants, I don't believe that they're going to be playing any of their starters because they locked up the 7 seed. So this kind of is just, a layup, right, for Eagles fans to kind of go ahead and grab the number 1 seed if Jalen Hurts does come back and play. So we'll see this Sunday coming up if Jalen Hurts does play. You could argue if the Giants sit all of their starters that Jalen doesn't need to play because you should be good enough to win. But Kevin
should
be
good enough to beat the Saints.
If you're as good as you say you are, you should be able to rest your starting quarterback because you got it locked up, right? Gardner Mitchell's going to go in there and he's going to make things happen, right? We need.
All right, so Toddy, Kevin, I want to get your response to Toddy real quick because it looked like you wanted to say something real quick, but I do want to get to Gary real quick after we get your quick thoughts.
33, number 1 team in the NFC, about to clinch the number 1 seed, and someone says we're on a decline. Does that make this anybody else? Or at the very, very top? Y'all trying to get there, like Toddy said. We on that ass, Kevin. Just keep on looking up and saying, damn, now we got to pack our winter coats. Go ahead. Gary.
Okay. All right. So Gary, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask the question that Manny brought up, which is who is, because between the 3 of us, question. Gary, but Gary, between all 4 of us, you're the only unbiased person here. So for our audio only listeners, Manny's question in the YouTube chat was, who is more scary to play in the upcoming playoffs, Eagles or 49ers? Manny said, I'm thinking 49ers. And just real quickly, the Hunter and Hayden show, they said I would have to agree with the 49ers, but QB is the question mark. So, Gary, now I pose that question to you. Who's more scary in the upcoming playoffs? Is it the 49ers or Eagles, and why?
See, that's my uncle right there tuning in. Thanks, Unc. I would just say realistically, the 49ers are the better team overall. I would say they're the better team overall, Kev. But they got a guy named Mr. Hurts who's on his way back. And I think he's going to be the difference maker. And like my uncle said, I think he's going to be the one that's going to make them a little more scarier. With his legs, he's a guy right there who could just change the game like Lamar Jackson can. And if he's in the game, I know last year, I've been telling Kev too, I've been not hopping fully on the Eagles bandwagon, but I've been rooting for the Eagles silently just because I feel like they do have the team. I just want to see, I want to see it proven in the playoffs. I still got the stinker last year, but obviously they've shown they've grown so much more. I would say Kev, you got to get a little nervous. It's a bad time to have these problems. It's a bad time. Like you said, I got to give Vaughn his credit right there. Like momentum-wise, you want to be going up during this time. You don't want to be going a little bit down, up and down, like what the Eagles are doing. You know, they should have beat this team. The Saints, you know, they're coached really good, but you guys didn't score in the first half. And that's like, come on, y'all not get a field goal, nothing. Can we get some type of something on the board? If you guys probably got something, there's probably a chance this game could be a little different. You know what I'm saying? But then they fumbled this one. So like Kev says, I'm gonna trust the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a little scarier just because of the quarterback they have, but I would be a little worrisome. I would be a little worrisome if I'm the Eagles. I would be slightly worrisome because you just don't want to come and bring Jalen Hurts right off an injury too quick. And then is he going to be fully prepared? Is he guys, are they all ready to roll when he comes, when beginning the playoffs? I don't know if you want to get the bye. I know the bye might help, it looks all good, but sometimes we've seen buys not help out, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm the Eagles, I would just be cautious and make sure Jalen Hurts is fully available and fully ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the main concern here, like Kev, I know he's saying that he's going to play this week 100%. If I was him, y'all lock in the playoffs. I mean, I know it's obviously a big difference from the 1st and the 5th seed, but it's like, I would want his health to be the first person to be the first thing to be, to be the first thing in priority here. So.
Yeah, and so it should be noted, just for extra context here, that not only are the Eagles still playing for the number 1 overall seed, but they are still playing for the NFC East division crown because they didn't get the job done against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Yes, with Gardner Minshew, but still, that was the reality. They didn't get the job done. Now they've lost 2 in a row with a loss to the Saints. So not only are they playing for the number 1 seed, but they also are playing for the division. Like you said, Gary, it can be the 1 or the 5 seed. And you would rather not have a wild card weekend game in Tampa Bay against that guy you guys were all talking about, Tom Brady. But anyways, there's lots of possibilities. We shall see what happens. Kevin isn't worried one bit. But Javon, you did look like you had something to say. So if you want to get the last word in on this, go ahead.
The Eagles and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts have never won a playoff game. Are they sure?
He's only coached 2 years, Toddy. He's only been there once. Give him a chance.
Are they sure they know what really goes down in the playoffs? Do they want to go up against
this team? You do got rookie QB, Vaughn. Don't be talking about too much now, like proving playoff things.
We went into the NFC Championship last year.
Quarterback.
Last year this, last year that. Kevin, we looked so good last year.
You look at just roster by roster. Niners have the coaching advantage.
Toddy, you got to make this one quick.
Defense advantage.
Okay, yeah.
The only thing that they have is the quarterback. So all I'm saying is the Eagles need this game more than we need the number 1 seed, because win, lose, or draw, we're going to be the number 2 seed because we're going to win on Sunday. The Eagles need the number 1 seed more than the Niners do because they need that home field advantage. They need it. If they don't get it, you might as well kiss whatever.
It's okay,
all right.
Whatever playoff.
Sometimes we politicking more than stats, guys. That's okay, kid. Sometimes we politicking more than stats.
I know. I know it hurts because it's true, but it happens. It just happens to be my team. My team is just that good.
All right.
Vaughn, you're opening it way too much. I can't wait to blow that bubble. Woo! I can't wait, y'all. I can't wait to blow y'all bubble.
All right.
Sean's
well,
getting nervous too now. You got Sean nervous too now. Look how much Vaughn. I'm telling you, Sean's nervous.
What am I nervous for? I'm just not the one spewing everything that he's spewing. I'm just. I am the calm 49ers fan here.
He's putting all the pressure on the Niners now to come out, sweep, win Super Bowl, kill everybody.
All right, Gary. This is your favorite time. Let's get to your team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you did brush up on them a little bit earlier. But before I get your thoughts on this, just real quickly, Javon, I want to know whether if you think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs, why or why not? Because Mike Tomlin, he's never had a losing record, and now they're 8-8 going with one more game left.
What do they need to get into the playoffs? They got to win to get in.
The Jets have to beat the Dolphins. Bro,
okay,
so
the Jets have
to beat the Dolphins.
Okay.
Hold on, let me make sure, double check here.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Jets about to beat the Dolphins, and the second thing has to happen is who the second team? New England has to lose too. So who New England's playing? New England plays the Bills. I remember. Yeah.
No,
they got to win or they got to lose. You said.
Oh yeah. Yep.
New England has to play. So Bills beat the. That's a possibility here.
I think that's
maybe off unforeseen circumstances this week. It might be a little tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Who do you guys play?
The Jets. They maybe it's in division game. We play the Browns. We beat the Browns. Come on now.
Is it in Cleveland? Is it in Cleveland where the field is like? Oh no, it's in.
Well, I mean,
they about to sneak in.
Yeah, it's in the Burgh.
They
All right,
like
so
they're gonna sneak in through the back door.
Money.
Mike Tomlin is allergic to losing seasons, as we all know.
Never happened.
Kenny Pickett has been kind of just sneakily having a couple of game-winning drives that we haven't really even known. George Pickens, I think, is a receiver that doesn't get a lot of love because I don't think he gets as much targets as he needs to. But I think I still don't think Kenny Pickett is the guy long term, but I think that he's good enough for this season right now. Najee Harris has been running roughshod. This Steelers defense is super underrated. They have the best safety in football, I think, in Minka Fitzpatrick. TJ Watt has been kind of just making plays as he always does. But I think the Bills will beat the Patriots. I think the Jets beat the Dolphins with no Bridgewater and no Tua Tagovailoa. And I think the Steelers are good enough because they're trying to keep their playoffs hopes alive. And if they win and everything else happens, they get in. And I think Deshaun Watson hasn't looked great, towards the end of his, season and in his first season as a Cleveland Brown. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to put all the pressure on the Browns to make them beat them, and I think the Steelers get in to the playoffs this year.
All right, Kevin, do you think that the Steelers get in, because there's a difference of what could happen? Steelers could win, obviously. We just laid out the scenario. The Steelers could win and avoid a losing season, keep that streak alive for Mike Tomlin, but they could still miss the playoffs. Do you think that they do both and they get in?
No, it's really hard when you have to wait for two. You got to hope and pray for two other teams to get a loss. At first, you have to handle your business on top because if you don't win, it doesn't really matter what the other two teams do. So it's a lot of things riding on non-Steeler things. So I think it's going to be really hard for them to get in. I'm not saying it's crazy, but I wouldn't put my money on it just because a lot of things have to go their way.
Gary, last word.
I mean, it's we had the same situation last year. I don't know if you guys remember when the Raiders and Chargers end up not making the playoffs because the Raiders went in, and that threw us in there. So that was kind of happy on that. And Kev's right. Like a lot of things got to happen. So, I would just be happy. I'm going to be proud of my team. If we win this game, get over 8-8 and just prove that this season that, we still got some stuff coming. Vaughn, you're not lying. I've been saying I'm a little iffy on Pickett. I'm not going to lie. I've been iffy on Pickett, but you know what? He's been showing a little bit magic here and there. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he keeps on improving and that, we're going to keep him for one more year. We're going to see what's up.
Unless you guys get the 7th seed if you win?
Yep, we get the 7th seed. So we would actually play Buffalo at the moment. And hey, Buffalo, we have got the Buffalo's number a few times now, if y'all know.
Just the extra week of practice.
Get
a free trip to Buffalo.
I don't remember. I think last year, first game of the year, we beat Buffalo. We went to Buffalo.
Yeah, I remember that. First game of the year.
Yeah, it was walked right into Buffalo, Vaughn. Walked right up in the storm. We did it right.
Pickett beat him.
No, we had been.
No.
We had been. Oh man,
that can just end the discussion right there. So, gentlemen, that's it for the pros. Now let's stick with football, but let's get to the amateurs playing college football and the college football playoffs. So the semifinals took place this past weekend. The first game on New Year's Eve was 2-seed Michigan versus 3-seed TCU. All four of us last week, including Manny, we picked Michigan. Gary, I'm assuming that you probably would have sided with Michigan going into that one. And we were even getting flamed in our YouTube comments for our opinions because we all picked Michigan. But hey, crazy things have happened. And TCU defeats Michigan in what was a crazy game. TCU came out and got out to a 2-touchdown lead to start the game. And I was just hoping that they held on the entire time. Michigan came all the way back, but TCU is able to hold on for the win. So, Kevin, I want to start with you first. Are you still shocked that TCU won, or were they just the better team?
They were just the better team. Max Duggan, Toddy's guy, QB1 for Toddy. He did his thing, running the ball, throwing the ball. They had Michigan's number all night, and it was from the jump. You could tell that Michigan kind of overlooked them and thought they were just having an instant bid to the national championship, but they got their teeth blown in.
Yeah, they definitely got their teeth blown in.
TCU is the first team to be unranked in the preseason AP poll, they have an opportunity to win the national championship. That only happened with Georgia Tech in 1990. So TCU all the way, baby.
That is a hell of a stat. I love that.
All the way is insane.
TCU going from unranked in the preseason. I think they weren't ranked until like week 5. and they defeat Michigan, and they defeat them 51-45, and it was a great one. Gary, on to you, sir. Well, first of all, would you have probably picked Michigan? Be honest. Would you have picked Michigan?
I'd be Michigan. You guys know I'm super casual college football fan here. When I
wasn't going to put you on blast, but I'm glad you'll do it to yourself.
No, I'm not going to try to act like I know everything about college football. Hell no. That's the thing. Don't start roasting me. No, I'm good. I'm casual, guys. Put it in the air right now. I'm casual. But I would just say, though, I just really wanted to go to perspective. I wanted to say TCU, what I've been hearing, I watched the end of that game as well. I will give TCU credit. Even though they made it kind of close more than they should have made it close. They really dominating that game throughout the whole game. Give TCU credit, really playing the underdog role, coming in there. Well, obviously, like our show and a lot of other people obviously did not pick Michigan. Michigan was a lot of a big-time landslide that we're going to really get in there. So I give them credit where credit is due, obviously. And with perspective, I wanted to touch upon that probably – more interested in, to be honest with you, for my little sake, is Harbaugh. Is he going to go to the NFL? Do you guys see that real quick? Can we touch upon that? That's what I think. I think he did his thing. I think he turned this team around. Yeah, I think he turned this team around a little bit. And I think, Sean, I want to see him back in the NFL with one of these teams, get a second chance. And he took you guys Niners to the Super Bowl when he with Colin Kaepernick way back in the day, in around 2012ish, I believe, 2011ish, around that time. I would say I want to see him back at a second chance here. He's another guy, there's not that many guys in coaching period, especially in NFL coaching, college football, who can go back and forth and have pretty much success back and forth. The only person I can really think of also off the top of my head is Pete Carroll, went back in those teams and stuff like that. When he back to college, came back to Seattle here, went to Seattle. So that's something I want to see for Harbaugh, which team he picks maybe to go to the NFL. Like you guys, Sean saying he's out of there. And I would hope maybe if he does have one more class in him, obviously you're so close, you're in the Final Four, Michigan, maybe get him over the hump if he wants to take one more stab at it. But, he got them pretty far and probably more. This is what they wanted. This is, getting to this spot. Obviously they want to win it, but getting to this spot, is a big deal for them, getting them back to some glory days. So I just want to see where Harbaugh goes. That's something I'm be eyeing and watching for.
Harbaugh tried to leave last year when he thought that he had the Minnesota Vikings job in the bag, and then he ended up not having it in the bag. He went to an interview for the Minnesota Vikings job last year on National Signing Day. That's how much he didn't think he was coming back to Michigan. Then he comes back. Congratulations, you led him back to the college football playoff. But again, couldn't get the job done. Couldn't even get one win and advance to the championship game. That's all I'll say. Javon, we haven't gotten your thoughts on this Michigan loss. You were feeling Big Blue going into this one pretty strong, and they fell on their face.
So, for the record, Sean and Kevin are praying and hoping Jim Harbaugh goes back to the NFL so he doesn't terrorize Ohio State like he
can stay and keep losing.
So, going back to the game, I was definitely wrong. I said that TCU would lose by at least 2 touchdowns going into it. I thought that, the defense for Michigan would kind of show up and be able to stop Max Duggan and the Horned Frogs. But the Horned Frogs, if you look at the stats, a lot of the stats are favoring Michigan. Kind of where it starts to teeter towards the TCU side is the turnovers. They had 3 turnovers, and 2 of those were for touchdowns. So if you kind of add it up, the time of possession, Michigan won. Total yards, Michigan won. Passing yards, they won. They had more first downs. They had less penalties. They had more sacks. Those 2 touchdowns kind of always those 2 turnovers that turned into touchdowns kind of just set the edge over to TCU. And Max Duggan just showed why he belonged in the biggest stage. His team kind of got the job done, and they were able to advance and beat Big Blue. And the game was one of the better games we've seen in college football history. I think they put up the most points in college football history, or playoff history. So TCU is kind of a team that can have the ball for not that long, but they can score really fast. They can have 2-3 play drives and just score. And when you mix that in with the defensive touchdowns, it's a recipe for success.
Yeah, that is very true. And so, Gary, I know that you are the college football casual, but I want to get your thoughts on this next game first. And that next game is number 1 seed Georgia defeating number 4 seed the Ohio State Buckeyes, 42-41. It was a Noah Ruggles shank that ultimately decided this one, as the Ohio State Buckeyes lost. Despite, I'm not even going to get into it, Kevin. There's a whole laundry list I could list as to everyone that they were missing and how the fact that they still almost beat the number one team in the country. Nevertheless, Gary, I feel like you like to take joy in Kevin and I's misery of Ohio State losing.
I like to just mess with you guys. What else? It's gonna be more fun if I mess with you guys. Play a little bit DA, devil's advocate. But what I was gonna mention about this game, I know this is a great game to watch. As me as a casual, this is just a great game to watch. I'll give it to you guys. Ohio State, man, that quarterback did a lot of things that he usually doesn't do.
CJ Stroud,
exactly, and he probably proven that he might be the number 2 pick as in the quarterback taken out of this draft. And you got to give Ohio State credit. They tried hard, but man, the Georgia's quarterback came out clutch and was clutch time calls. And I know everyone's been kind of down on him in this whole year, but just an ugly, messy game. And you could tell with his post-game interview, he was probably shocked himself. He pulled it out. So it was pretty cool to see the two teams going at it. And and both teams really playing one of the greatest college games I've watched personally. So you got to give it to Ohio State trying the hardest here and giving all they got. But Georgia, man, making timely plays when it counts. And you're going back to the chip again. Can they go back to back? That'd be crazy. I know that doesn't happen much, especially since Alabama really the guys didn't last. So Georgia proves it again, guys. What can y'all say?
Yeah, Stetson Bennett, he really seemed shocked in that post-game interview because he knew that he left too much time on the clock for CJ Stroud, which he did, but the guy who apparently grew up loving Ohio State football and always wanted to kick for Ohio State football, the moment was too big for him. So, Kevin, before I get
down like that.
The announcers built him up so big only for it was not a regular miss, Gary.
I know it was horrible. It was horrible.
The memes showing basically old school Madden where the field goal is aimed all the way left. Those memes were so accurate because of how bad the kick was. It wasn't just a little miss. Anyways, I digress.
Have a kicker conversation the whole other day. I'd be just thinking, how does this guy just come on the field? I know they're athletes and respect Pat McAfee and all those guys. They would always have great insight in that stuff. I'd be thinking I know their teammates are looking at him like, bro, you just came on the field and your only job here is to make this and you missed it, bud. What is wrong?
Yeah. And so Manny's wondering when we're going to talk about USC choking again. We are going to get to that right after this discussion about the college football playoffs. So stay tuned, Manny, and everyone else to hear Javon grovel about USC choking again. Who was it against this time, Kevin? It was some T school.
Texas
Tulane.
Tech, Texas State. Oh, Tulane. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, sorry, Tulane.
Tulsa.
Okay.
Tulsa.
Yeah. We'll get to that right after this. But Javon, I know you just love seeing our misery. So, you finally showed respect to CJ Stroud, but now you're walking that back apparently.
Oh man, yeah, CJ had a great game. He threw 4 touchdowns, 3.
You hear how high his voice just got?
He was playing great.
382.
382. My fault. Stetson Bennett threw for 398. He almost threw 4.
I'm just making sure you understood.
Your star wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., he got knocked out of the game, which was unfortunate in the worst possible time, to be honest. CJ was kind of just making plays out of his ass. I thought on the final drive, he was kind of – there were some plays. I thought he took some bad sacks on that last drive that kind of maybe could have gotten you guys a little bit closer. But, hats off to him. He played and looked like he belonged on one of the biggest stages for sure in college football. Kind of went out there and he did his thing, even though he was down 2-3 receivers. He was playing with backups, who those backups are 4- and 5-star players who just didn't get to play because all the other guys were playing. But at the same time, I thought CJ Stroud had a great game. Stetson Bennett played a tremendous, probably the best game of his life, to be honest. Threw for 3 touchdowns, 398, almost 400 yards. Kind of that last drive when they got all the way into field goal range. I think he was, when they rushed up to the line, right after that huge play, and they ended up, running the ball. And then on the next play, they ended up scoring, leaving CJ Stroud a lot of time left. I kind of knew that the Ohio State was going to drive down the field because I saw this last year in the Rose Bowl when they played against Utah. and CJ Stroud ended up going all the way down the field, and they ended up kicking the game-winning field goal. So I kind of thought that was going to be the same instance here, but the kicker moment was way too big, kind of pissed out his leg at the final moments of the game, and then shanked it wide left. So you can't blame this game on CJ Stroud at all because he did everything that he could. Showed that he's probably potentially the number 2 pick in the draft. Based off of the draft order, he probably might not be the number 2 overall pick, but I think he'll be the number 2 quarterback picked in this draft. But yeah, man, I thought, hats off to, Georgia, the number 1 team in the country. I think they're probably going to go back to back, and they're sort of building this weird Alabama-like dynasty that we're kind of seeing here. But we'll see next year if, Ohio State is good enough to get back into the playoff. I thought this team that they had was pretty one of the best teams in recent memory. I wouldn't say the best team they had. I think the best team they had in recent memory was probably the last time you guys went to the championship game. Michael Thomas, Ezekiel Elliott, those guys.
They made it to the championship game a couple years ago when they lost to that Alabama team.
Yeah,
and they were led by Justin Fields. Last time they won the championship, you mean?
Yeah, I think that team was better, is what I'm saying, than that Justin Fields team. So, hats off to Georgia. They got the job done. Sucks for the kicker because he's probably feeling like the worst guy in the world. He's probably getting all kinds of hate mail in his DMs. So you'd hate to be that guy. But CJ Stroud's probably going to – is Marvin Harrison Jr., is he draft eligible this year?
Nope. He's got to come back. He's going to win the Heisman.
I don't know about winning the Heisman, but
he's going to win the Heisman.
For Shedeur.
I guess Shedor's going to win the Heisman. He's a Heisman favorite already going into next year.
All right, so Kevin, I sympathize right there with you. So how were you feeling? I mean, I'm gonna save the rest of my thoughts for anyone who wants to hear it off air, but I just want you to represent the Ohio State perspective here.
Man, to watch us go head to head with the number 1 team in the nation. Everyone said all this about the Georgia defense. Manny came on here last week and said they got 5 stars everywhere. The D line, and Toddy said the water boy was the best man in the country, and they just had everything going on, man. But for us to go toe to toe with them and hang with them to the very last minute just shows that Michigan game was a fluke. That was the last thing the nation saw for us to go out there. And, we didn't win, but to leave a better taste in the nation's mouth and C.J. Stroud to go out there and compete just shows that he's really one of those guys. And like everyone's mentioned, the kicker the moment was too big for him. As soon as I heard the story about him being a lifelong fan, I knew he was going to miss.
And look at that. Kevin just handled that like a pro, where Javon fell out of our StreamYard link, and then Kevin just – finished the response and everything.
Keep on pushing, kid. There you go.
He wasn't even phased as we switch around back to our logo. Anyways, our guy Khalil, he said he's taking CJ Stroud over, I assume that Williams is Caleb Williams. So that is a take right there. Don't worry, Khalil. We're going to get to USC in just a moment. But before we get to USC, gentlemen, I just want to go around real quickly and just get our prediction for the college football playoff final between number 3 seed TCU and number 1 seed Georgia. Javon, it sounded like you already gave your prediction. It seems like you're leaning towards Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia's 13.5-point favorite going into the game, and the game's next Monday. So I think Duggan might cover the spread, though. I don't think that they'll get blown out. I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people think, but I do think Georgia kind of comes out with the victory.
And one of our listeners in the YouTube comments, Gary, said that's his uncle, the Hunter and Hayden
exactly
show.
What I just said.
He said, I saw Georgia win, but take TCU and 12.5 points. So there you go. They're on the same page, Javon and Gary's uncle. So, Gary, are you on the same page as your uncle where you're going to take Georgia to win the game, but TCU will keep it close?
Back to back, baby. Go. Come on, Georgia. We get a little Drake and get a little Drake verse. Back to back champs, Georgia. Come on now. We're going to keep – sorry, TCU. I want to go – I use an underdog type person. I'm not going to lie. But I just want to say back-to-back. Be right.
All right, Kevin. Are you going to make it 3 for 3 for Georgia?
I'm going to go with the Horned Frogs, man. I'm going to pull off the upset.
Oh, let's go.
Fool me one time, shame on me.
Crazy
Fool me twice.
Upset.
Can't put the blame on you. So I can't bet against them twice, man. I can't bet against them twice. Matt Duggan, he's going to go out there and show why he was a Heisman candidate. I think they're going to get it done.
If you bet on TCU to win, they're plus 360 right now. You put $100 on it, you win 360. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I think I am also going to lean with the Horned Frogs. You know, it's going to
They
be
beat
like
Michigan. Oh my God.
it's going to be what movies are made of. You have Max Duggan, who didn't even start the season as a starter. Then he finishes the season as a Heisman finalist. Second place. He got second in the Heisman. You have a guy, what's his name? Gary something is their coach. I'm so sorry. I couldn't remember his last name off the top of my head. But he used to coach at Cal. He did not succeed at Cal. Then he gets the job at SMU, redeems himself. Now he's at TCU, and he could lead the Underdogs to probably the most improbable college football championship ever. We shall see, and we will definitely talk about it next week. So it's time. It's time, gentlemen. USC, they choked again. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Kevin has been waiting for. Manny has been waiting for. Khalil has been waiting for. Gary, I'm sure you've been waiting for this too. As USC, they were up like 2 scores, and I turned off the game because I was like, they're playing Tulane. I don't care. And then I turned it back on, and Tulane was winning by a point with seconds to go. And I just didn't understand because UFC was up like 15 with 4 minutes to go, and they lose this game. So, Kevin, Gary, I'm going to let Javon have the floor first because I want to let him spew his blasphemy that we will then take apart. Go ahead, Javon.
It kind of just always comes down to you can't stop anybody. I mean, if we would have played Yale or freaking Harvard, I bet you they would have put up 30 points against us. So it's been bad. The defensive side, Lincoln Riley coming in, kind of changing the program literally from upside down to front side up in 1 year. It's tough to do. You can fix one side of the ball, and that was definitely the offense. Caleb Williams, obviously, he gets a Heisman Trophy out of it. Threw for 462, almost threw for 500 yards, threw for 5 touchdowns.
Man.
I mean, he's a guy that I think that he's giving me Patrick Mahomes vibes. I've already said it on previous podcasts before. The way that he's able to just make literally nothing into something. The rollout plays that you'll see, he'll roll out right and just be holding the ball on for 11 seconds. Boom, throws a touchdown. Mario Williams. So I mean, you just see him and his talent and what he's able to do at this young of an age. He's just a guy he's a human highlight reel. So you're not worried about the offensive side of the ball when he's able to put up points. But the defense has just been a problem in itself where you can't cover anybody. Guys are able to get 12 yards a carry, 19 yards a reception. It's hard to stop teams and win games when your defense is not able to hold their end of the bargain up. And kind of going into the last part of our drive, when Mario Williams didn't field the kickoff and ends up going on the 1 yard line, and we're kind of stuck on the 1 yard line. We ended up getting a safety, ultimately having to punt it back to Tulane, and they end up driving down, which they've been kind of doing all game against our defense, and driving down and scoring. So when you give them 2 points and they have a chance to score and take the lead, wasn't a lot of confidence there when we ended up getting the safety. I was like, oh my God, we're going to fucking lose to Tulane. And then I'm going to hear from Sean and Kevin, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Caleb Williams is still the best quarterback this year's draft, next year's draft. That hasn't changed in my eyes at all. It's just that the USC defense is not where it needs to be. And if they want to compete for championships, the defensive side of the ball has to be addressed. And this is going to continue to happen. Caleb's going to put up crazy numbers. He's going to throw for 5 touchdowns. He's going to throw for 500 yards. But they'll lose. And that's kind of when it comes down to this USC team is not this defense is not equipped to stop anybody. Like I said, couldn't stop Tulane. So hats off to I don't even know what their mascot is. They're just Tulane.
Sean, you make us buy a show.
Green, yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Gary. I did a little too much. I added that they lost.
Yeah, they did.
Choke. They did choke again. What do you mean?
You couldn't say USC loses to.
Oh, hold on, Gary. Let me
go ahead, Kev.
So yeah, go ahead, Kev. While I show all of our YouTube and Twitter listeners what I've basically been calling USC. It's just been USC choked for the last month. Ever since they lost that game to Utah, and then they lost to Utah again. Now they lost to Tulane. So Kevin, I mean, serve them up.
I'll make it quick, man. I know it's an open wound. I know it's still kind of stinging you, man. But they went 2-10 last season. Flipped it around and go 12-2. Toddy, I'm gonna give you some stem that's gonna hurt and you're gonna feel it. Over the last 5 seasons, FBF teams went down 15 points in the final 10 minutes are won and 1,692. They are now 2 and 1,692.
That's a great stat.
You know,
that's a tough stat.
He looked for that one.
Hey man,
Yeah, he
just
did.
landed in my lap, man. What can I say? But you know, like Sean said and Todd, you know, that big numbers, you know, it looks cool, but you know, in LA they just want to put up numbers and win trophies. So that's all good. We knew what they were.
Gary, you seem like you're trying to be the advocate. We know you love to be the devil's advocate, but are you trying to be the Toddy advocate right now, trying to defend him in this terrible team?
I wouldn't say. I got like Toddy said. They let him put 46 on the board, and Caleb threw 462 out of 5 touchdowns, and they let him run with 205 yards on their defense. Not even that, more than that, way more than that. Just one. Tajay Spears had 205 rushing himself.
Ohio State would kill to have Caleb Williams on their team. That's all I'm saying.
I ain't gonna like that Caleb Williams guy, man.
They would
He's something
trade Caleb
special.
Williams for CJ Stroud in a fucking heartbeat. Anybody will.
I would trade him for Pickett in a heartbeat.
Oh! Hey, well, Gary, you said that I was being biased, but Manny confirms USC for sure choked. And
Yeah,
well,
they
I'm
did
just gonna
choke. I know.
I'll just revisit this comment. I mean, Javon, you said that Ohio State would kill to have Williams over Stroud. Our guy Khalil, he loves to troll, so this might be a troll comment, but right now Khalil is saying that he's taking Stroud over Williams. I don't know if I believe him, but we'll just have to leave that one there.
You just be saying stuff anyway. So.
Oh yeah, Khalil. I mean, I'll just say real quickly in 15 seconds. There was this one day that Khalil was cutting my hair, and one of his family members came over to the house, and I listened to Khalil just try and debate his family member remember the take was so bad, Javon. He said that he would rather have Tyler Boyd over Jamar Chase. He didn't actually mean it.
We'll stop you there.
He didn't actually mean it. He just was trying to stir up his family member, and the family member just took the bait and just ran with it. So I'm sure he was just trying to get Toddy going with that comment as well. We love you, Khalil, and thank you.
We got a good troll on Khalil right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do for sure. As we got to keep it pushing here on episode 8 of Stats Over Politics, and we were done with our college football blocks, but it's your favorite time of the show. It's time for Sean's pop quiz. Toddy's currently
Gary
up.
got a question. I got my pop quiz. Sean, you're waiting for the week that I'm going to take over the pop quiz. I got one question for all you guys.
Okay.
You know, I seen that she pop up on my TikTok. All right. We got one question. Actually, it's for Sean. Sean, you had 10 seconds to answer this. All right. This is Gary's pop quiz. He has some time limit on his.
Yeah. Let me put the there we go. Gary's pop quiz. Here we go.
Gary's pop quiz. You got 10 seconds, Sean.
All right. Phone's going down.
Okay, you got 10 seconds. How many NFL teams end with the letter S? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
7,
I got it.
8.
Can I steal it?
No.
31. 31.
Sorry, bud. 32. All the teams have it.
Dude, I was gonna guess 30. I was gonna guess 32, but I thought for sure he was trying to trick me. I thought he was trying to trick me.
I was trying to do this away. I was like, I gotta make him think, because if he starts going through them, he's gonna start noticing that I'll have it. I was like, I gotta somehow make. That's why I was like, time limit on this one.
Well, yeah, when you were counting it down, yeah, clip that. Sean failed the pop quiz. But when you were counting it down, I was trying to think to myself all the teams that didn't have it, and every team I could think of had it. And so I was just like, Gary's trying to trick me right now. So that's why I said 31 rather than 32.
You were close. Hey, that was pretty good. That was a good tricky one, huh? I was thinking like, hold on. The Washington football team, I guess I seen the comments last year. Actually, wouldn't I? You would have been right last year, but they changed it to Commanders now. So now it's
Washington's playing games with me. All right, Gary, real quick, I'm going to flip this on you. How many teams in the NBA do not end in an S? How many teams in the NBA do not end? Yes, do not. There are. I almost said how many.
What?
And if anyone wants to shout it out, this is for everyone. How many NBA teams do not end in an S?
No, 1. Heat.
How many?
One.
What's your final answer?
Heat.
Bro, you should have trusted your gut. It's 4.
4? Oh, it's totally
Heat.
out of nowhere.
It's the Heat, the Jazz, the Magic, and the Thunder.
Okay, that's good. Damn, I shouldn't have kept it then.
Yep, you should have stuck with your gut of 4. And yes, Jesse, he got me. He got me. As I thought I clicked on the comment. There it is. Yes, he got me.
He was helping me too. I was like, but I need to word this so Sean doesn't get this one right here.
Hey, there you go. You got me. All right, so now it is time for our regularly scheduled programming, which is Sean's Pop Quiz, College Football Championship Edition. Kevin, I see the look on your face. I tried to make these softballs, so if you guys don't get these, this is on you guys. So let's see.
That on me now.
All right. So
that's gonna be hard.
Hey, we're asking the casual about college football questions.
That is true. But we're gonna kick things off with Javon. Javon, I want to know what Heisman Trophy winner lost in the 2015 national championship. And just to keep with the theme of Gary, I'll give you 10 seconds. And I'm going to remember to let people steal this time. Yep. Kevin got me. It's at 5 seconds. 4.
Wasn't
3,
it against it was against
2,
Ohio State when you guys played them.
I'm going to need a final answer. I'm not the hint machine.
0.
All right.
Oh,
I
know it is.
Final guess. Who is your guess? Final answer.
It's
You don't know. He's one more time.
Is not an answer.
No. I know.
3, 2, 1.
Johnny Manziel.
Oh, no.
Do either of you, Kevin? Are you gonna Javon? He's gonna steal if you don't have an answer right now.
No, he doesn't have an answer.
Okay, he doesn't have an answer.
Kevin, keep talking. You're not letting me talk. You're not letting me do that. Let me
Javon, say it now, or you're done.
Say it now.
Okay, Kevin. Kevin, who is it? Kevin, who is it?
It's the King, Derrick Henry.
No.
Oh, yeah, I thought you had that.
I thought I knew it too.
So to be specific, when I say 2015 national championship game, I mean the game was played in 2015. Game was played. So 2014 college football season, the game was played in 2015. The Heisman Trophy winner was Marcus Mariota. That was your Javon. I thought for sure you were going to get that. You did get it. He was playing against Ohio State.
Fuck. I just forgot who y'all played. I forgot who
you had it at the beginning. Yeah. All right. Well, Javon swings and miss on that one. All right. Next one, he bunted. All right, we're sticking with the same theme. Kevin, I want to know what Heisman Trophy winner won the 2011 national championship.
Oh, I know this one.
2011. It's a softball.
I know it.
It's a softball.
Oregon. So
it's a softball. And to be specific again, let me just be clear. The game was played in 2011, but it was for the 2010 season. No ambiguity. We're very clear in which game I'm talking about.
Was it Cam?
Kevin? It was Cam Newton.
Wow. Freaking he got it right.
He got it right. All right, so let me update the total. Kevin now has 3 total points. But real quickly, did Gary get a sympathy point or no? Kevin said hard no on that one.
Wait, last week for the homeboy coming in, stepping in?
No. From when I did that bonus question a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you already been counting that weeks ago, Sean. You're the ref. You can't be going back and forth for this one. You put 1 on the board last week. Now you're going to ask me again. Come on now, Sean.
0.
Well, Gary technically has 0, but I gave him that. Remember when I asked him the question about who has scored more points than Damian Lillard in the since like 2012?
And you guys
was like, I know it.
Question.
Gary was like, James Harden, LeBron James. I know it. I got it. And I tried to give him a bonus point.
Come on, y'all. Don't be hating now. Give me your glasses, Sean. Give me your glasses, Kev. All right. Tunnel vision right now.
All right. So now let's get to the final question here. So Kevin now has 3 points. Gary, let's see if you are able to get your question. What's up? You have a quick question before the question? Oh no. Oh, he's Gary. No, Gary. All right, Gary has 1 point. Good job, Gary. You got one sympathy point.
Foul right now.
Gary, now it's time to get a point that you actually earned. So I want to know what I had what in there twice. Well, what Heisman Trophy winner won the 2020 national championship?
What Heisman Trophy winner won the 2020? Joe Burrow?
There we go.
You ready at that. So now you
Kevin, when I said I thought I
Put
gave
2 on there for me, bro.
softballs. All right. I might have to take a poll from the audience because it doesn't seem like I can make a fair determination. I don't know. We got 6 people watching on Twitter and YouTube streams right now. Let me know in the comments. Should we give Gary a point
say no.
for that bonus question a couple weeks ago?
No.
Or
come
should
on,
we
y'all.
leave it-
Go back to the clip. Sean put it out there. So I'll give a point.
I did.
And they wouldn't say no. Vaughn and then Kevin wouldn't say no. Oh, don't
No,
give
I said
a
no.
point after I answered it right. Then
Check the film.
I know.
Oh,
maybe
never
Kev
bad.
did. Probably. I can actually see Kev
All
saying
right.
that.
All right, so now the totals are Kevin said no from the jump, like he was straight up from the jump. But yeah, the totals now are Toddy has 4, Kevin has 3, Gary has 2. So congratulations, guys, and I appreciate you participating for another week. And I am now 0 for 2 on the Quiz Sean quizzes. Last week I failed Kevin's. This week I failed Gary's.
You're next week.
Toddy, hit me with a quiz next week. Let's see if I can redeem myself. Well, we shall see what happens. All right, guys, we got to keep it pushing for our last segment here on Stats Over Politics, episode number 8. Now let's get to the NBA because there's a man who just turned 38 years old, and he proceeded to score 47 points and 43 points. That man is LeBron James,
Might as well throw this to Kevin.
Arguably will finish as the greatest of all time, in my opinion. But Kevin, what is yours? Because this man is like ridiculous. Not only the points, but the rebounds, assists. I could name his whole stat line, but I'll just save you all the time. Look it up if you want. Kevin, this is the greatest of all time that we're witnessing, aren't we?
It's the greatest of all time, man. You took the words right out of my mouth. Last 5 games, averaging 36, 9, and 6. You know, to say you're 38 years old and doing that single-handedly making the Los Angeles Lakers entertainable. Going into the Atlanta game, he said he's going to drop 40. He went out there and dropped 47. So he obviously still got it.
On his birthday.
He made it a comment earlier in the week. He can see himself going for as long as he wants. He's not slowing down anytime soon. So, you know, LeBron is just doing LeBron things. He came in and did that at an early age, and everyone was surprised, and he's been able to maintain greatness. You know, a lot of people can't do that, but LeBron James can.
Gary, man, I was about to make a funny comment, but I'm gonna save it for off the show. So just Gary, LeBron James, is he the greatest of all time in your opinion? Because he's 38 years old, and since he turned 38, he decided to drop 40 twice.
He's the greatest of our generation. That's a whole another debate, guys. That's going to be another hour show. But the LeBron James,
I was going to say your uncle doesn't think that LeBron. Your uncle doesn't think that LeBron is the
no. My uncle is not going to say. I've had this debate a million times with him, so he's never going to say it. But LeBron's obviously one of the GOATs of our generation, one of the GOATs of the generation. But just want to drill in the point. Like before the last show I was on. LeBron James needs help, guys. Rob Pelinka, hello, ding, ding, ding. Can we get some moves here? Can we get something cooking here? LeBron's giving you 38. He's giving you 40, giving you 40 plus on a daily basis. He said 30 wasn't enough. I'll give you 40. You want 50? I might